wickets. So if you're able to try your refreshing thing again, I don't mean to tell you to suck eggs. We'll see how we go.
So how many balls you got? Oh, sorry, 18. I'm 7. Number 12 is Annie.
Oh, she's going to bowl, thank goodness. Oh, well done, well done. Good morning everyone and welcome back to the Mazda Brisbane Premier League Under-19 Women's Competition. And from a technical perspective, I don't know what the opposite of fun is, but that's what we're having. So it's been a tricky day, but what's important is that we can now show you some cricket between the Darling Dingoes and the Western Power. Annie Wickman drawing a false shot outside off stump, conceding the wide. So there has been an early wicket, a run out, wonderful direct hit from Emma Jackson. Just missed Kalia Wheeler. Now Kira Holmes on strike to Annie Wickman. Captain on captain, dot ball in the end. Holmes didn't get the middle of the bat. Went out to Olivia Clark at mid-wicket. Dingoes won the toss and elected to bat. They're one down, as I say. Annie Wickman, the West's captain, and the Power captain. Short ball pulled around, that'll be 4 runs. Kira Holmes read the length of that perfectly and turned it behind square for a boundary. Annie Wickman, quite a good bowler actually. I think she underbowled herself for Wests. But bring herself on now. And she can bowl better than a short ball on leg stump, so that will happen. First time we've seen the Power on the live stream, and I'm glad that we have enough power to show you the Power on the live stream. The Dingoes still searching for their first win of the tournament. That ball popped a bit. Wickman may well have hit the seam there, and it just rose a bit on Kira Holmes. He's an accomplished keeper batter, plays for Valleys these days, having made the move from Ipswich. Another pull shot, well fielded. Macy Hauser, who opened the bowling from the clubhouse end, that's the near end, the southern end, moved swiftly to her left before getting the throw-in back on her right. Now I do have the live chat from YouTube open in front of me, and there's a lot of wind around today, so if the camera blows to the wrong angle, don't be afraid to say so. Outside, off stump again, just a couple of minutes off. The camera again goes toppling. Have a luxury here, the official scorers are just to the left. Falls of agree online and Fisk Walsh. So let's let it go. So the Dingoes reached 41 off 6 overs. The power play finished 2 overs ago. The way it works in this competition, we have a 4-over compulsory power play, where the fielding side can only put 2 people outside the fielding restriction circle. And then after the 10th over, the batting side can elect to take 2 more overs, with only 2 players outside the circle. The rest of the time, a maximum of 5 are allowed out, and that section evens now. There are no close-in fielders. Even the 5 players within the circle are all standing on it, which means they're 27 yards away from the bat. So Olivia Clark, who plays second grade for the University of Queensland, now bowling from the clubhouse end. Imogen Fisk Walsh. Correction, Kira Holmes. Holmes, a lovely shot out to mid-on, all along the carpet and fielded well, but long on. Jackson, one of the trailblazer players for the Power, making her presence known in the field. Presence felt, rather. A fuller, slower delivery. Clever. Clever from Clark. Fisk Walsh likes to get on with it. She's a good aggressive batter. Just getting deceived on that occasion by Clark. Again changing pace. Looked a good length. Disadvantage of not being behind the bowler's arm is that you think it's a good ball and then you have a look at the umpire and realise it wasn't quite so. Dingoes on top early.
Hey Joel, sounds like it's up now.
Crossbat swipe from Fisk Walsh, not pretty but effective. As it heads out towards Wickman on the boundary. She often, for a captain, she fields on the boundary quite a lot, Annie Wickman, but doesn't seem to lose control over what's happening in the rest of the field. But if you've got outfielders, occasionally she finds herself 150 metres from teammates. Maybe 120. Clark wide. Ooh! Nearly carried to cover. It was a dangerous shot from Holmes. Just landed at the feet of Megan McCartney.
4 runs to
Megan, another country player from Mackay. Well, I think she may have turned out for Valleys last week. Well down the leg side from Clark. As we put the camera at this angle today to make sure the camera wouldn't run out of battery, and instead we put ourselves right in the path of a gale force wind. So we thank you so much for your patience with the technology today. It's not what we wanted and certainly not what you wanted. But we're here to watch Clark. It's open. Dropped it mid-off. Ashley Sims was in good position. She'll be furious with herself. Fisk Walsh does hit a hard ball, however. And it was flying to mid-off. The experienced Sims put it down. So Clark still searching for that wicket. Shorter, top edge, safe, and very, very athletically fielded at square leg to restrict Holmes to a single. So Clark unlucky in that over. Generally bowled with good control, a couple of wayward deliveries. But Fisk Walsh and Holmes, at least they're looking to attack. They are taking risks. Giving 2 chances in that over. But the Dingoes want that win. So it's amazing how often you might see a side lose the first 2 matches, think they're struggling, and then you realise that those 2 teams ended up being the Guns. Yesterday, the Dingoes going down to the Magic by 4 wickets, but it was off the second last ball of the game, second last available ball. And then on this field got dusted up by the Marlins, bonus point loss. Bowling change at the Ellison Road end with, I believe it's Megan McCartney coming on to bowl. Nearly had a ball hit to her in the previous over. Has been known to open the batting as well. On the offside, Holmes' shot beats the fielder, beats 2 fielders. Holmes advances her score by 2.
That's a 50 up.
50 for the Dingoes. Struggled against the Marlins yesterday, but mind you, everyone has. Back to the offside. No one there. McCartney keeping it tight early. Makes sense that someone called McCartney would have good rhythm. Just held that one back. Holmes did well to adjust her shot. Takes a single to cover. But yes, a lot of the country players who came down for the Brisbane Premier League were accommodated into the Catherine Raymond Shield and Jodie Field Shield over the weekend. So that's an excellent initiative from Queensland Cricket and the Brisbane Premier League. Again, adjusting her pace well. Fisk Walsh, most respectful. McCartney again. Walsh attempted to play that on length and the ball just died on her a bit. It has been too paced this wicket over the 2 days. It's the most variable bounce. Fisk Walsh suddenly found herself having to jam down on a ball that she thought she'd be able to pull around hip height. Lots of wind here today. Most likely playing havoc with the players. Went for the LBW shout. Fisk Walsh taking a big step down the wicket. They hit her above the knee roll even then, so it was never going to be given out, but a good first over from McCartney. Thank you, Ken, that the camera's moved again, which we're not surprised about, so apparently we're looking at half a pitch at the moment. Just to the left a bit, I think. Thank you for Kerner, keeping an eye on it. My thanks to Nick, who's been working like a Trojan for the last 4 weeks, both in the men's competitions down at Ipswich and Redlands, and again here. So Annie Wickman ringing the changes. Sarah Walker, before this tournament I had down as a wicket keeper, and then yesterday she took 3 for 30, so really a multi-skilled athlete. We're not in the power play, fielders can go deep. Oh, and was blowing around again. It's gone. Just trying to adjust it to the left there. I think we should be right in a few seconds. Oh, I went way too far to the left. Apologies for that. I can tell you that there's been a single to Holmes. This Walker starts with a delivery outside off. Sarah Walker, a leg spinner with a very relaxed walk up to the crease. Trend probably started by Shane Warne. Leg spinners once upon a time used to at least trot in, if not charge. She's conceded singles off the first 2 balls of her first over, her spell. Holmes thought she'd turned that round the corner. She had, but it had barely left the front door. Nearly wandered out and provided an opportunity. Jamie Lee Strang behind the stumps. Walker keeping it quite full. And Holmes will play that just for a lazy single down to long on. So Holmes and Fisk Walsh both in the 20s. They've attacked well. They've generally run between wickets well. Not letting the scoreboard settle. Quicker delivery but down leg side. So Walker goes for the variation, which is worth it, but concedes the sundry. Fisk Walsh anticipated that delivery well, saw that Walker's settled on a full length, came out to meet it and got the one to cover. There's a deep cover, long off and long on at the back, long on's on the boundary, long off maybe just at the edge of the circle, and then protection on the leg side. Bowled, kept it up. Holmes went onto the back foot when she really should have played forward to that, and the stumps have gone through. A little bit quicker through the air from Walker as well. Possibly a slider, maybe a top spinner, maybe just a quicker arm. But Kira Holmes has seen the furniture scattered. And it will be Abby Harvey to come to the wicket. So Holmes, plenty of ambition in the innings, and on that occasion, whatever the plan was, maybe just the wrong shot to the ball. But Sarah Walker, excellent persistence, and her wicket tally for the tournament continues to climb. Probably the best bowling performance we've seen by a wicket-keeper so far. Riley Wotherspoon may have a few things to say about that. She started the season in the Catherine Raymond Shield last year, keeping, bowling medium pace by the end of it. Someone called Josie Dooley took over the gloves. That's for South Australia these days, but still plays grade cricket for Wests. They're not here. Sarah Walker is. Walker has kept it full. The line has generally been excellent. That's squeezed out to mid-wicket. The throws at the keeper's feet, but Strang does well. Excellent first over from Sarah Walker, making a key breakthrough and making sure that the total doesn't get too far away from the power. Fisk Walsh is set now, and so for her it's a case of trying to balance the attack with batting through the innings. A bit will depend on who she's got around her. All right-handers in the Dingoes batting lineup so far. Not entirely sure they've got a left-handed batter in the lineup, which as a left-hander disappoints me greatly, because you know it's all about me. Harvey on strike. McCartney will continue, I believe, from the Ellison Road end. Had a good first over, McCartney. Full, it's lofted, but it's into space. Not the most convincing shot from Harvey, but you got a single for it. And to be fair, if you're going to loft it, that was exactly the spot in which to direct it. The power just haven't been able to stop the Dingoes' total from just ticking over. Not many big shots. It's never really stayed still. I think McCartney going for a slower variation there and didn't quite come out of the hand correctly. Most of the deep protections on the offside. There is a deep mid with the long on, but then 3 deep on the off. Outside edge. Fisk Walsh, well, she's got the result for 4. I think she was trying to play it to the offside, but I'm not entirely convinced she was in control of it. So good work from McCartney. Good endeavour from Fisk Walsh. And it's one of those ones where you can't really blame the captain for the field placing either, so no one's at fault. Lofted, just over the head of cover. It was a risky shot from Fisk Walsh, but you can always assess the risk. Fisk Walsh has done so with good judgment generally in this innings. McCartney creating. The full toss, but it went straight to the fielder for a dot ball. It wasn't a high full toss, it was still maybe shin height when it got to the batter. Harvey on 2, not here that long. Ooh, lofted. Harvey played through that shot. The bat face was definitely pointed upwards when she made contact. So Wickman might like to think about maybe a short cover. Just bringing one close in on the offside to both cut off the single and maybe just be around for that lofted opportunity. Fisk Walsh on strike to McCartney. Well guided, maybe got too much bat on that Fisk Walsh, just didn't quite guide it through the gap as she wanted to. 66. Generally controlled over from McCartney. Dingoes moved to 66. Fisk Walsh looking good on 26 from 30. Less than a run a ball at the moment, but well set to accelerate. Walker will continue from the clubhouse end. Got the breakthrough in her previous over. If it ain't broke, keep the leg spinner on. I just invented that one. Good use of the feet from Harvey. If anything, it went too quickly to Sims at cover, who put a lot of venom into that throw. A couple of errors from Sims early. Keen to atone. Minute on the full, driven to McCartney at mid-off, rather
nice
deep
throw.
mid-off. I agree with our scorer. Very strong throw from the Mackay product in McCartney.
That's what it was. The demarcations.
Walker, Fisk Walsh riskily going onto the back foot, but the hand-eye coordination was good, put the hands through the ball and got a single out to cover. So the boundaries aren't coming, but the singles are. Sometimes known as a picket fence scoreboard. It's one after one after one. Beautiful. Again, it was just a little bit shorter, which made the batter think that maybe going onto the back foot might be an option. But unfortunately, Harvey's gone back when she should have gone forward. Sorry, Christy Turner, you were enjoying Abby's innings, and unfortunately it's come to a close. So a third wicket down. Sarah Walker has 2 more. She's enjoying an excellent tournament. Throw the keeping gloves away, Sarah. You found your talent. It's 3 down as the new batter, Olivia Winter. So really now for Annie Wickman, the choice is is whether to keep Walker on and see if she can bust this middle order or hold her back just in case there's a partnership. And again, I agree with Christie's assessment of the end of Abby Harvey's innings. Bummer. So Winter from Ipswich side making the final of the Jodie Field Shield last year, lost to the University of Queensland. But a lot of talent from that Ipswich side has made its way into the Brisbane Premier League, mainly via the Dingoes. So 3 down and Walker has 2 of them. Fisk Walsh remains. A full toss which is whipped away by Winter. Misfielded on the square leg boundary. And it has gone. So an excellent start for Olivia Winter. A little bit fortunate, but there was nothing wrong with the shot. Gave herself the chance. While the Powers made a good start, just a few errors in the field have stopped them from being a lot better. So Walker going for extra pace there, maybe didn't need to. But she's on top in this spell generally. Good use of the feet. They won't get a run because it's gone too quickly to Clark. So at the end of 11 overs, 3 for 72. So between 6 and 7 and over, 120 may be enough. We've seen a few sides post 140, 150 on this field and then restrict their opposition to around the 100 mark. From what I've observed, if you get 110, you're definitely in with a shot. If you get 120, you're more likely to win than lose. If you get 140, 150, you might even get a bonus point. All 3 matches on this field yesterday resulted in a bonus point victory, as did the first one today. So we haven't had a close match on this field. All of the really entertaining matches have been on the outer fields. We put the camera on the wrong field. This is the main oval at Marchant Park, home of the Warehouse Cricket Association, an institution of the Brisbane cricket scene. Sims returning. It's glided down to 3rd. We are trying to use more gender-neutral language in commentary these days, so we tend to talk about 3rd rather than 3rd man. Short 3rd, deep 3rd. No point excluding half the population from cricket. Full toss, whipped away to leg, that'll be 4. Through the gap, 2 fielders converged on it. It passed a 3rd on the way through. Superb placement from Winter. She's one of the Trailblazer players. She's only 18, so she could have played in the under-19 comp anyway. But the Trailblazer players can be up to 23, as long as they're not signed a professional contract with the Heat or Bulls. Better ball from Sims. That's the form she showed in the Raymond Shield last year. 40 wickets or so. Incredible summer. Shorter delivery, clever batting from Winter. Knew that square leg was deep and the push and run was on. So Sims not quite in a rhythm. Flatter. Fisk Walsh has used her feet extremely well in this innings and again came out to meet that. Flicked it to leg and out to the boundary rider just for the single. She's always giving herself a chance. Nice little glance. Very nice glance from Winter. May just have enough on it. In fact, it has. It was placement rather than power. Square leg was very wide. Clark made good ground to it. But the ball went over the Witch's hands before she could save it. So an expensive over from Sims. But that's not to discredit the batting of Imogen Fisk-Walsh and Olivia Winter. The Ipswich combination doing very well. So 100 looks assured, and after 12 overs being up to 80, if 120 is generally a winning score, then the Dingoes are well on their way. And so they have kept Sarah Walker on because a wicket is needed. Wickman rolls the dice. Full. Again, the footwork from Fisk-Walsh is assured. This partnership is rolling along very nicely for the Dingoes. If Sarah Walker can strike here, that will be an enormous relief to the power. Six runs off a no ball. Walker losing control. And Fisk-Walsh did not need a written invitation. Whack. A no ball, a free hit, and 6 runs already. And possibly the first genuinely bad ball we've seen from Walker. And I mean that in a complimentary fashion. Her control's been excellent so far. And defending a free hit is a very necessary skill in T20 cricket. Walker has the chance to show us now that that's a skill she possesses. Unfortunately, it's another full toss. Won't be 6, but it will be 4. In fact, I thought I'd seen a signal from the fielder, but no, it's 4 runs. So in effect, 11 runs from 1 ball to Fisk-Walsh. Walker just being a bit full at the moment, 2 full tosses in a row. And of course, a very dangerous delivery is the one that's just in between the full length as a drinks carton, complete with the plastic still on it, makes its way to long off. So that's an extra fielder outside the circle for Mike. That's the length. That's Walker's length. Fisk-Walsh couldn't come forward to it. Did well to glide it to third. But Walker made Fisk-Walsh think there. So Winter, who's been in attacking vein herself, to get a chance to face Walker. Good length. Hit on the front shoe, I think. Perhaps Winter getting a little carried away and not watching the line properly. Looks like the camera's just moved to the right, so I will fix it at the end of the over. Down the leg side, bit of a top edge, but there's no one in that area. It's trickled to fine leg. So just a single. Walker's just been knocked off her line a little.
6 1 go.
Good length, a little wide. Fisk-Walsh cut it into the ground, but it only resulted in, I think, a fairly slow journey to Erin Moran at point. So the 100 in sight for the Dingoes. Walker 2 for 26 off 3. That over just worsening her figures a little. They were looking fairly unspoiled until then. So Fisk-Walsh up to 30. She has accelerated. Does help when you get a couple of full tosses in the over. So Ashley Sims, she's got the ability and the experience to bring this back. Not a great last over. Now it's just a case of execution. Talia Hess taking up the attack. Ashley Simmons has been dragged by a good friend Annie. They can talk about that afterwards. Talia Hess in the number 4 shirt. Creates a chance early. As it rolls to fine leg, it won't go. The throw comes in from Clark. And Winter, for the first convincing runs of her innings, really. Short and wide, but the bounce saved it. Good work from Hess. Very nice keeping from Strang. Possibly hasn't been required today as much as she would have liked. Little shorter, pushed. Windsor looking for the run, not forthcoming.
98. Here we go.
Full. Allowed Windsor the chance to get into the front foot. Fielded on the boundary. The boundary riders doing their job. Shorter delivery. Fisk Walsh had to wait for it. And eventually it was very low and she couldn't quite get the strength to get it past the backward square leg fielder. But she's into the 40s. And that brings up the century. Fisk Walsh has not quite half of them. I'm not sure the Dingoes have had a half-century scorer yet in the tournament. So Fisk Walsh looking to make a little bit of history for the Dingoes under 19 women's side. Danny Wickman needs some ideas. Again, every fielder inside the circle is back on it. There's a long off going back. Erin Moran into the attack, also of the Western Suburbs Club. Western Power see themselves looking after the Western Suburbs of Brisbane, but also into the Ipswich corridor. Maybe looking after some of the western bits of Logan as well. So that's their turf. Of course, the draft means it can be picked from anywhere. But they do have a local identity. Skied. Out towards deep mid-wicket. And the catch is taken rather comfortably in the end. And so that's the end of a very entertaining innings from Fisk Walsh. Wickman herself takes the catch out of deep mid-wicket. As I said earlier, she tends to put herself in the outfield. The new batter will be Lauren Taylor. So a full toss, Wickman. Well, actually, it came a bit quicker. Fisk Walsh tried to get all of it. Got a bit of a leading edge. It still flew. So Fisk Walsh falls short of the 50, but has definitely done an important job for the Darling Dingoes. The batter's crossed, so Winter will be on strike. And an immediate breakthrough for Erin Moran. Good length. And an outside edge to the boundary. Strang was wrong-footed. In fact, it's Byes, I apologise. Definitely beat the outside edge, and Strang just looked a little bit wrong-footed. She started moving to the left, and then watched it fly past her right glove. She'll work out what adjustments she needs to make. Moran possibly doesn't need to make any. And Winter, well, she'll take the freebie. Another good full delivery from Moran. Her first ball was almost a warm-up. That came out at a gentle medium pace. She's found her rhythm in the 2 balls since. Still fielders back straight, long off and long on. Deep square leg. Keeping it full. Hit straight to cover. Winter will be disappointed with that. Hit it straight to Ashley Sims at cover. Dropped one earlier, wasn't going to do it twice. And a double breakthrough for Erin Moran. Superb bowling change from Annie Wickman. A good partnership between Fisk Walsh and Winter. And in the blink of an eye, both of them are gone. Lauren Anderson strides to the wicket. And after 14 or so overs of excellence with the Dingoes, a bit of a stumble in over number 15. Sometimes happens in these situations. The batter who came in first won't face the ball until after the batter who came in after her. Erin Moran, 2 wickets and 4 balls. She's got her tail up. Follows it with a wide. Strang just got the knees to it. It was an awkward bounce for her. And the commentators curse strikes. Lauren Taylor's reign between wickets yesterday was impressive. Called her partners through for runs regularly. Full ball on the legs. The appeal comes from people who aren't in line with the ball. Erin Moran is basically saying to Annie Wickman, I was here the whole time. You could have bowled me earlier. Your mistake, not mine. Again, she's just been bowling outside off stump, keeping her line quite tight, and that is a superb first over from Erin Moran. She can be proud of that. And thank you to Graham Strang, who made a couple of suggestions with the camera, and he's absolutely right, it was seen too far in. And I'm going to say the 3 words of responsibility that I love to say, not my fault. But you're absolutely right, Graham, and thank you to Justice Kennedy as well. The problem so far today is that every time we get the camera right, the wind comes along. There's a whole bunch of dust in front of the camera, but I appreciate you keeping us on it because it's the most important you can see. The wide to begin with, Talia Hess, who waiting for a second over. Just medium pace, but if she gets her length right, that can be very dangerous and very difficult to get away. Quite full, and the good old coup français yields a single to fine leg. It's when you show the wagon wheel to your parents and say, yeah, leg glance, total leg glance. I forgot the French word for cut, but you're welcome to put it in the comments. That's a good length. Just back of a length. Lauren Anderson chose to go forward, wasn't there for it. And Hess gave herself a couple of opportunities. That's unfortunate. A no ball crashes into the stumps. Yeah, the double bounces. I before they changed the law, I did take a couple of wickets with the old double bouncer. Cruel lawmakers took it out of my arsenal. Not fair. Typical batters. But good. Oh, there's a total mix-up. And somehow we've ended up without a run out.
Lauren Anderson one.
Goes in the scorebook as a single to Anderson, and all of the entertainment is lost. Thankfully you have the video. A mix-up in the middle of the pitch. Hess ended up fielding well off her own bowling. Possibly needed a word from someone out there that the chance was at the keeper's end. Nice delivery. Just played into the offside by Taylor.
You've got 15 minutes to start the last.
Good ambition to take the single, but wasn't quite on that occasion. Sent back by Anderson. Two Andersons in the Dingoes side. I don't believe they're related. Ella Anderson, you probably see bowling leg spin later in the day. So Lauren Taylor on strike to Hess. Outside the off stump, again going for a full length Hess. She does have that slightly wrong-footed bowling action where the ball's released before the left foot lands, and that can make it tricky to control. And that's a good width outside off stump. Taylor let it go. You cannot hope for a wide, particularly at this late stage of a T20 innings. You've got to play it. Full delivery, driven. Taylor will take a single and completes the run before the field has picked up the ball. Anderson was in a tiny bit of trouble, but made good ground. So Hess concedes the single. I'll bang on again about bringing one fielder in to put the doubt in the batter's mind about whether a single's on. Just a little short, but Anderson was committed to the front foot. So it's a dot ball with some very smart fielding from Moran. So 7 from Hess is over. She has none for 11 after a couple. Which is very, very acceptable in the circumstances. Late inclusion, Talia Hess. Isabel Hartog was to be one of the trailblazer players for the Western Power, who not only plays first grade cricket for Wests, but also won a premiership in the QAFLW with the University of Queensland back in July. Very good across halfback, intercepts well, and also a very good fielder. So Annie Whitman's brought herself on, clearly jealous of Erin Moran's success. And that one shoots through. That'll be, I'm not even sure that hit the bat. That might be another 4 byes. No, it has hit the edge of the bat. Skidded through. Lauren was clever enough just to get a tiny bit of bat on it and went racing away to third. Clever batting from Lauren Taylor from the Winnemanly Redlands Club. A couple of Easterners, Lauren Taylor and Ella Anderson, both of Winnemanly Redlands. Full delivery, this one squirted out past point, certainly won't be a boundary, it will probably just be the single. And that's an excellent throw. Some good fielding from point. Might have been Moran again. Wickman. On the walk was Lauren Anderson. It's a good feeling from Erin Moran. He's on the leg side. Apologies for the mis-ID before. As long on gets pushed back. Olivia Clark now on the long on boundary. Anderson played forward. Wickman possibly got a bit of movement. Or Anderson just played down the wrong line. So Wickman getting it together after conceding a few early in the over. Down leg side, fumbled by Strang, and Lauren Taylor is onto it. Good throw. Strang recovered well. It's 2 wides to the total. But Lauren Taylor was alert to the possibility of a run, and then Strang recovered well. Full toss, that's beaten the gap, should be 4. There's enough on that, crashes straight into the boundary crane in front of us, possibly covered up by the ticker tape. despite the best efforts of Sims, it goes over the boundary. Just snuck inside for Whitman. So Whitman concedes 11. If I was Erin Moran right now, I would be staring daggers. I might even go as far as to steal her lunch. So the Dingoes have passed 120. That's significant. It means the run rate at the end of the innings cannot be lower than 6. As I say, on this field, which is fairly large, I think it's larger than 5 and 6, the power surge has been indicated. So Sims with the experience will come in. All but York Sanderson with the first delivery, right on the money. Racing through it, well kept down by Anderson as she plays out to the point sweeper. Gets a single, gets Taylor on strike. The Dingoes, if they can get to 140, they should feel very confident. Taylor waited on that and then just timed it too well to cover. Nice attempt at a late cut, beats the inner field. Just the one, they have gone for 2, which is absolutely the right thing to do at this stage of the innings. Throw into the bowler's end. Not sure whether there was a call. In my experience, non-professional cricketers are way too keen to call bowler. Sims flighting it well. Taylor letting it go outside off stump, which I would suggest is not the right tactic for this stage of the match. Of the innings, rather. Nearly aired to cover. And Taylor just not picking the gaps at the moment. And Sims raced through that over, as Whitman did in the previous over. They're not behind the over 8 by any stretch, but they are charging through. So Taylor on 13, Anderson on 2, 5 for 26 with 2 overs remaining. So looking for 140, second over of the power surge. Whitman's bowled in it. Leg side wide. Not signal. Oh, signal.
Didn't signal to us.
And it's gone to the boundary. We'll see if there's some wides or byes. Leg byes, in fact. Point of contact was behind my vision. I apologise. And so Whitman wayward in the 19th over. 5 sundries already. Total getting away from the power. Slashed. It's beaten the inner field, but not quite timed. Well fielded at the points. I think that might be... No? I don't know. But good fielding at point regardless. Was Walker out there. Tall figure. Down leg side. This will be 5 wides. Yeah. And Whitman's control is alluding to it at the moment. Better bowl for this as the wind suddenly picks up. As the dust and leaves scatter in front of us like something from a Banjo Patterson poem. Whitman's searching for something. Control for a start. Caressed into the offside. Good work from Walker at point. He looks a good prospect in the outfield. If I had anything to do with it, her keeping gloves will be on sale on eBay this afternoon. Wickman. Chipped over the top, it'll land safely. So well weighted from Lauren Anderson. Anderson herself bowling medium paces, took 3 for 14 against the Magic yesterday, so she's got a bit of bowling form in her. She'll be confident. The Dingoes in a great position. Better ball from Wickman. Back of a length, outside off. Best ball this over, really. So Wickman, none for 27 with 1 ball remaining in her third over. Conceding leg byes as well. Good ball, good Yorker. And some good fielding by Abby Harris at cover. Keeps it to a dot. So 1 over remaining, 5 for 139. It's been a superb performance from the Darling Dingoes. As I say, not a great day for them yesterday. A narrow loss to the Magic and a fairly significant loss to the Marlins. But they didn't have to get up early today. They've got the power now, obviously, and then at 2 o'clock they'll head over to Field 6 and take on the Northern Kings. Responsibility for the final over quite rightly been given to Sarah Walker. She and Erin Moran have been the pick of the bowlers today. These innings. Good length from Walker. There wasn't a huge amount that Anderson could do with that. Taking her time at the top of her run. Another good length. Oh, it's been called wide. The length was fine. The glove work and strain was good. Unfortunately for her, it's a bit outside off. But Anderson, looking for an opportunity to score. Not many coming. Had the right idea, moved the feet towards the pitch of the ball, maybe just be a little bit more decisive. But Walker's length has been impeccable. Floated up to the top edge, and it will fall in short, and then it does a leg break, and it's gone for 4. That was unlucky. That was one of those ones that hits the ground, and then turned at 45 degrees. And poor Talia Hess saw the ball spin past her. But Anderson threw the bat at it. If you do that, you deserve the luck you get. So Walker, 1 poor delivery, but good until now. Anderson on the charge. Oh! Called through for the run by the teammates on the boundary. And so Anderson gets an entertaining single. She was on the walk before the ball reached her. Hit a return catch for which Walker did very well. Then Walker went for the run out. That didn't work because the field was so deep. Conceded a single. Taylor on strike. Little full from Walker, but it's just pushed. It's a point for Taylor. Nick Anderson takes up the case of Erin Moran, saying, I was just enjoying the girl with the good length bowling with 2 for 1 figures. The live chat will be on again for the next innings. Good use of the feet from Anderson. It's skied and dropped it long on. They stop at 1. Maybe could have pushed for a second, put a bit of pressure on the fielder. In fact, given that it was the last ball, they absolutely should have run. So a missed opportunity there. But superb work as they reach 150 with the final ball of the innings. 147, apologies. 5 for 147. An excellent score for the Darling Dingoes. 140 has been defended every time they've scored on this field. Superb batting down the order. Fisk Walsh getting out in the 40s. Kira Holmes looked good for a while. Abby Harvey looked good for a while. Winter did well, and then the superb partnership for the 6th wicket between Lauren Taylor and Lauren Anderson, making excellent figures. The scoreboard will flash across your screen very shortly. Wickman was expensive. Aaron Moran bowled the 1 over 2 for 1. Sarah Walker took some important wickets in the middle overs, but it's going to be a very, very difficult chase for the Western Power, given the stats on this field in previous games. We're going to take a break for about 10 minutes, and then we'll be back for the Western Power's run chase as they seek their 2nd victory of the tournament. The Darling Dingoes chasing their 1st. This is the Mazda Brisbane Premier League Under-19 Women's Competition here at Marchant Park in Aspley. We'll see you again very soon. When I go onto the app for the Western Power and Darling Dingoes, there's still no...
Is it a BPL one?
Yes.
There's nothing on there.
Thank you.
Because we're not doing it, because it's been going up and down all the time, so we're not using it.
No problem.
I'm just like we use mine.
That makes sense.
Can we move you over?
Move over a little.
Or are you sort of planting there? Or unless we go right up the other side.
Okay, what's your concern? Just
Sun's coming in here.
Oh, I see. Right, okay, sure.
No, you stay because you'll wreck the equipment. We could probably fit over the other side of it.
Can I give you a hand? Do you? Sure. Didn't need to think of this. Again, we can be heard, but...
And just stepping over here.
Yep, you're right.
Whoops. And
Because it'll keep coming this way.
Exactly.
So we just got a little bit here, but it'll keep coming this
I was
way.
going to say, we can just wait a little bit for that. Yep. No, you to me.
What to you?
Yep.
Okay.
There you are. You're really out of the glare. That's
The only thing now is you're much closer to the microphone, so that's my only concern.
Yep.
But to be honest, the volume that you two have been talking, and hopefully me talking hasn't played havoc with that, has it? Or?
For us, no, just at the end there when you did it, when we were trying to double check the score, but it's okay, that's no drama there.
I'll tell you what, looking at the phone screen,
Yeah.
it said 5 for 146, and I misread it as that. It was as dumb as that.
So I made it just like something doing my way, something I was doing.
I'm the quieter one out of the door.
And if the shade keeps from there, we might even move a bit more.
Sure thing,
Keeps
see how we
get
go.
us away from the microphone.
No, it's not trying, this is just to demonstrate what I understand. I have scored many times. I was lucky enough to get to know Judy Harris and Brian Fitzgerald. And in the early days of the info, Brian's name was misspelt on there as Brian Fitzgerald. And so that's why I called it. I'd always say g'day, Brian. And I love the linear scoring method. Which I think Bill Frindle invented over the BBC back in the 70s or so.
Oh, is that right? Bill Frindle, like, yes, it's pretty good. I've adapted this to this, but
I don't think
Stuck out the right there.
So I'm not making assumptions. You're aware of who Bill Frindle is?
no, you just told me, yeah. We invented linear scoring, so was he a commentator, was he?
He was the BBC scorer.
Oh, BBC
So
scoring?
on Test Match Special when you had your John Arlott and Brian.
Oh, right, okay.
He was, because he had a big thick beard, Brian Dodson nicknamed his beard as was like, yeah, this is a good partnership. What how big's the partnership there, Dan? And he was actually quite grumpy. It was like, yeah, $40 football. Oh, that's rather quick.
The 12 to 20 euros is just like you think of all
That won't stay there. Maybe you keep blowing.
You know, it wouldn't have hurt if we got a hose out on this overnight.
Actually, I think it's back as where it goes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I thought they were here. No, that's more front box stuff. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's
there. Yeah, in the box it says balls.
Thank you.
Sorry, doing the car park.
Welcome you back to that portion of the Sahara Desert located in the north of Brisbane. where the dust doth blow and the cricket is played. It's the darling Dingoes looking for their first win of the tournament, and with 147 on the board to defend. Lauren Anderson to begin. Short delivery that kept very low. That is unlucky. Anderson did well to keep it on line, but to get a shooter like that first up is absolutely terrible, terrible fortune. And the Power find themselves one down without really having an opportunity to score. And so Wickman, the captain, goes. This is someone who's hit.
That was Megan McCartney.
Megan McCartney goes. As I said, if you thought I said Annie Wickman, what I actually said was Megan McCartney. And a marlin has just tripped over the tent. They've won. They've got 3 wins from 3 matches, the Coastal Marlins, but they've also destroyed a marquee. But more importantly on this field, Marchant Park number 10. I'll explain properly what happened in a moment. The Coastal Marlins have a mascot, and the poor man dressed in it. No way he could have seen where the pegs were for this marquee, and his poor guy's fallen over it. So Lauren Anderson, one off one. Played there. So just to properly describe the first delivery, Megan McCartney, opening batter from Mackay, played I think for Valleys, possibly Wynnum last weekend. Terrific pedigree as a batter. It's an excellent fielding at cover from Eliza Goffage, as there's a single to a short delivery. I apologise, the marlin costume, which has been removed to repair the marquee, nearly became a third fielder outside the circle. So we'll try to get things sorted off field so we can enjoy the bowling of Lauren Anderson. The new batter is Annie Wickman. She's come to the crease. She's now on one and it's an on-striker's end. The left-hander in Emma Jackson is on strike now. Plays it to leg. Has beaten the infield, but there is a sweeper. One of the 2 fielders allowed out is Fisk Walsh at deep mid-wicket. So just a single. Jackson in good form against the Magic yesterday, 83 off 52. The big individual performances have not been on this field, but there's been some very good team performances here. You have to have everyone present to win on the main oval here at Marchant Park. Anderson a full delivery, top edge, but it's over the circle and 4 through square leg. In fact, it may not have been top edged, it flew. And Wickman met it on the full and punished it. As I say, Wickman in the T20 cricket for Wests opens with Grace Harris. They had a weekend out at Allan Border Field last December with 1 double century stand and 1 not quite a double century stand in the semi-final and final of the T20 component of the Catherine Raymond Shield. The Wests coaching staff, in their wisdom, made Wickman the captain for the season. They figured, well, we're going to have the Queensland and Heat players away, so let's give Wickman some captaincy experience while we've got the experience around her. You'd have to say it worked. They went down in the semi-final of the 50-over comp to the eventual champions, the Sunshine Coast. And Wickman has grown in her role. Went for a back foot, what is called a slash. Outside off stump, didn't get it. Into an eventful first over. Anderson with a bit of luck off the first delivery. And then some entertaining batting to follow. So the Dingoes defending 147. The Power have 2 targets. First, they've got to reach 80% of 147.
I think it's a little bit window, but wait for it to run last night.
Eloise McKenzie, again, who has been known to take the gloves, but today she's off the long run. She'll be opening up from the Ellison Road end, bowling to the inform Emma Jackson. Foolish delivery, well played to leg by Jackson. Looks to have beaten the infield with some pace to take it off, and they'll get two. As Wickman ran very strongly. Another wind gust to the southeast. A short delivery, Jackson was committed to the front foot and was completely out of range by the time that ball got to him. Did well, tried to play that ball on length, and you simply can't on this pitch. The bounce is not reliable. At least protected herself. Holmes has come up to the stump. She's quite an accomplished keeper, and she's decided that the pace of Mackenzie. Beautiful pull shot. She did play that on length, but she was watchful, waited for the ball to get to her. And a fairly safe and strong 4 runs to Emma Jackson. So poor Megan McCartney out on the first ball of the innings, but at least she can tell people she once got a golden duck to a half-tracker mully grubber while a marlin tripped over a marquee. So protection on the leg side, the deep cover's been brought up, deep square left, deep mid back. That one she's hit through the gap, through wide fine leg. It's not only gone past the boundary, it rolled up the hill beyond the boundary. And had it not been fielded, it might have got 4 on the field behind as well. So Mackenzie straying down leg side. Down leg side, pulled around, and an almost identical boundary to the previous ball. So Mackenzie losing a little bit of control to the left-hander late in that over. Jackson taking full toll. Oh, shivers. Apologies, I hope that's as sweary as I get today. Anderson continuing from the clubhouse end. There is a misfield at points, but it's not bad enough to concede. Anderson again to Wickman. Good Yorker. Wickman thought about a run, and Abby Harvey in close made sure that that thought was snuffed out immediately. Anderson probably bowling with better control in this over than she did in the last one. Played into cover. Abby Harvey again controlling that region. And she is playing the role of that short cover. Not back on the ring. And it's already saved their team 2 runs in the last 2 minutes. Yes, thanks again, Kiana. We are keeping this camera still in the wind. Of engineering beyond me, which admittedly is not that difficult. Anderson keeping it full, and why not? Through the defences of Annie Wickman. It was a good length delivery, a little bit fuller than expected. Wickman had played back, and suddenly the ball was through her. And so Lauren Anderson, maybe a bit of luck with the first wicket, none with that. Straight, good length. And the captain, Wickman, is gone. And that is a big dent in the hopes of the Western Power. So the Power 2 down. Batter, I think might be Brianna Craven. Yes, Brianna Craven coming in at 4. Another University of Queensland player. Lauren Anderson with a tail up. Ball down leg side. Been a few bowlers today struggling with that, where they take the wicket and then maybe try a little too hard with the following delivery. So it's gone for 4, and it is runs. Good start for Craven, took advantage of a loose delivery with a nice glance. So Lauren Anderson, 3 wickets in innings yesterday, already 2 here today. Not express pace, but her accuracy is impressive. As the commentators curse, forces her to bowl one down leg side. And this is 5 wides. Note to self, don't praise accuracy again. So Dingoes have made an excellent start. You do need to be aware that the job's not finished. Sometimes you can get a start bat like Annie Wickman out, and you think, right, we're home now. Even if you don't say it out loud, it can be there. Get rid of it. Popped up. Oh! Just over the head of one fielder, and just before the feet of the other. Still think the field was in the right place. Hannah Tucker, just slightly deep, but Lauren Anderson, she has 2 wickets, and to be fair, she's deserved 2, just maybe not the 2 she has. If you're confused by that, so am I now that I've read it out loud.
I think so, she's holding that hat there.
Abby Harvey comes up to the bowling crease. There was stunt formation crisscrossing by the Dingoes across the bowling crease. The ball has ended up with Abby Harvey, who's relatively quick. Batted quite well earlier today. And because Abby Harvey's back on, I'm expecting Christy Turner to have a comment very soon. Come on, Christy, don't let me down. But she has been impressive. Again, not express pace, but well above medium pace. Hasn't stopped Kira Holmes from coming up to the stumps, though, to make sure that Emma Jackson stays anchored in the crease. Accomplished keeper Holmes. Let's see how she goes. Jackson got onto the front foot, turned it down the fine leg where there is a fielder, So just the one. But you would suspect that Jackson carries the hopes of victory for the power. They're going to turn this around as opposed to just getting a respectable total. You would think that Jackson will need to be around for a while. Craven on strike. Wide delivery, didn't bounce either. Apparently Christy Turner's working. So, what's more important, your job or Abby? Honestly. No, thank you very much for your company. So we're enjoying the Mazda Brisbane Premier League. Took the outside edge, ends up being glided quite nicely by Craven. It will beat the fielder. That's 4 runs. Didn't get all of it. Was maybe looking to hit that in front of square. Nothing wrong with the result for Brianna Craven. Power not out of it by any stretch. Craven making sure the scoreboard is ticking over nicely. Harvey draws the same shot. This time it does go more or less directly to the fielder at deep third. Just the single. Left-handed Jackson on strike. Different bowlers have had different levels of success changing their line immediately to right and left-handers. It is a skill. So Harvey has the chance to show that she has that skill now. $11 to 1 here in Brisbane. Jackson went for a big shot, got a little shot, somehow still ends up with 4. And in fact it is bars, it did go underneath the bat. Now personally I would suggest that Holmes standing up to Harvey. I think Harvey's a bit too quick to do that, particularly with the variable bounce on this marching part pitch. But the Dingoes have a plan for Emma Jackson, then let them follow it through. Round the wicket, but it is pushed down leg side. They'll take a single. 2 wides to the score, so now the right-hander on strike, so Harvey has to adjust again. A lot of it can be done by visualising before you bowl. Just a lot of scientific support for visualisation these days, and sometimes you can think through it before it happens. Usually have to keep it outside off, and on that occasion keep it too far outside off. She can do this, Harvey. She's got skills. Showed that with the bat. Maybe just take a moment to just work through what you're about to do. Lovely. Beautiful Yorker. Had to be dug out by Craven. Nice comeback from Harvey. And Christy, you're absolutely right. The wind, because it's not consistent either. It's just gone calm here. If you count to 10. Or 3. No, the bigger one came on 2 right the first time. Good finish to the over from Harvey. But Craven and Jackson did do quite well in that over. So 10 off that over. They will. Anderson's bowled well from this end, but they don't want to necessarily bowl all 4. And so they've turned to Olivia Winter. Windsor also relatively quick, faster than Anderson. Faster doesn't always mean better. But Windsor, another Ipswich product. Take over from the clubhouse end. Kira Holmes behind the stumps, also the captain, rigging the changes. Pushing the deep cover back, that's Lauren Anderson out here. And then bringing a fielder from behind, from around point, into sort of a normal cover, really. Winter begins down the leg side to Jackson. It was like a cut shot with no footwork that ended up at mid-off. There has to be a shorter way of describing that, but I couldn't find it. But Winter on target anyway. So the power up to 44. Foolish delivery. More of a, I suppose it was a square drive. It's gone out to point for a single. Jackson moving on. And Winter, after one loose delivery to begin, has found a range. Again, the challenge is adjusting to the right-hander. Fairly straight, but that's clipped off the toes. Quite lovely batting from Brianna Craven. Little flick of the wrists into the gap, 4 runs. So Winter doing better than some, but still straying onto the pads a little. Winter, one of the Trailblazer players. Only 18 herself, again could have been selected just for being under 19, but her first grade experience means that she was a good choice for the Dingoes to make as a Trailblazer. As has her ability to beat the outside edge of a classy batter. The under 19 women's draft, the full video, if you've got 4 hours to spare, is still available on Facebook. And the Trailblazers were exempt from it, but for the young women involved, quite a thrill to be part of a draft situation. Overcompensating from Winter, pushes it outside off stump. Conducted with virtual money, each team was given a budget, and so you could either blow it all on a star or you could build a team. So in that context, there are some millionaires on the field at the moment. Still a little wide, lofted, caught. Fisk Walsh takes the catch at point. Wasn't really the right shot to play, or maybe it was because she played on length, but the ball just did not get up. And unfortunately for Craven, she hit it more or less straight to Fisk Walsh, who got down onto her knees just to make sure she could hold it to her chest. But the technique was fine. That's a 3rd wicket down for the Power, just as this partnership was looking to build. So Jackson remains. Craven departs. The Dingoes will feel a lot more comfortable having put a 3rd batter back to the pavilion. So the task of the Power now, they've still got some momentum in terms of run scoring. As Jamie Lee's straying the Power keeper. Is that the wicket? Another Ipswich player, you'll get used to that. Can bat. So there's still a bit left in the shed. And now Olivia Winter bowls to her clubmate. again a wide, was in generally the right area. But as has been pointed out, unless you're bowling at express men's pace, the whole heap of testosterone and muscle, the wind is more than capable of blowing the deliveries around. Good ball, it's taken the outside edge but thickly out to third for a single. Good throw. And the outfielders, the over completed, successful over for Olivia Windsor, a few sundries in there. Marking is blown slightly over the camera. It probably won't affect your shot of the ball, but we will work on that because the marking has been blown forward over the camera, so we'll keep an eye on that. So Dingoes were threatening to... The Power were threatening to take the ascendancy from the Dingoes, that's better. And just that wicket, key wicket of Craven, means that Jackson has to build a partnership with a new batter. So Harvey will continue from the Ellison Road end. Foolish delivery, taken on the full, and just turned back with the square leg. Good grief. As poor Lauren Taylor gets covered in dust. May even be in a situation where we have to dispense with the bails. There was one instance yesterday where some bails ended up on the ground and a decision had to be made about whether it happened more or less as the ball went past, as so often happens. Harvey. Lofted by Jackson just over the head of the deep fielder. That'll be 4 runs. It was a calculated risk. Hannah Tucker stuck an arm in the air. Not quite enough to get there. So Jackson moves into the 20s. No. Yes, 21. Harvey giving herself a chance by pitching it up. Hard to get an edge if you're just only bowling back of the length. Got to give yourself a chance, and she did. Kira Holmes waiting for anything loose. Jackson with a front foot cut shot. It will go to the boundary sweeper for just a single. Good outfielding. I think that might be Kalia Wheeler out of the point boundary. White sleeves. Harvey, another lofted shot. Again, it will beat the fielder straight. Another 4 runs. It wasn't really a half volley, but the footwork of Strang made it look like a half volley. And that was a cracking shot, beautifully timed. Over long on. Deep mid on at any rate. Shorter. Beat the outside edge. Strang going for a cut shot without really getting the feet into position. Holmes nearly had reason to get excited. So maybe Harvey, risk and reward. Again beats the outside edge. Holmes went for it. I think Holmes is doing the right thing standing back because Harvey's chance of taking an outside edge is real. She's conceded 10 off that over, but I thought it was good attacking bowling and made the batters take risks to score runs. But full credit to Emma Jackson and Jamie Lee Strang, who took the risks and ended up with two quite lovely boundaries straight down the ground. So a little bit for the Dingoes to think about. They've got 154 on the board. Sorry, 147 on the board. That much is set. Lovely batting, particularly from Imogene Fisk-Walsh at the top of the order. So Olivia Winter will continue from the clubhouse end. Bowled. Again it kept low. Jackson went for a cross-bat shot. Not really the wrong shot. Just that from that end, you cannot rely on the bounce. We've seen that over the last couple of days. So Jackson loses her poles. Olivia Winter has a wicket. Every time the power threatened to take the game away from the Dingoes are able to pull it back in their favour. Blustery day here in Brisbane. I realise anyone watching from Wellington, New Zealand is probably laughing at us right now. But for us, we're not used to this. We're a fair way from the ocean as well. It's not a sea breeze. It is cool, but not a sea breeze. We will be right near Moreton Bay for the next 2 days as we go out to Redlands. That's not far at all from the water.
6.1. She had the time to try to cross back.
So the new batter, I believe, is Abby Harris. So Abby Harris is the number 25. And of course, from the Dingoes' perspective, they've also managed to get rid of the left-hander, which will give their bowlers a bigger opportunity to settle. Winters copes better than most. Melanie Verney in the earlier game coped rather well as well. Outside the off stump, Harris watches it go through. And racing through, the Dingoes may have got a little word about the over race. This game started late because of the previous game. Windsor bowling with good pace. That one just got away from her, offside wide. But again, on a windy day, sometimes you just got to wear those. Into Hannah Tucker at cover. There's a long off. The mid-on is up. There's a deep cover. Deep square leg. Deep fine leg. And that one died as well. In fact, it's beaten the keeper. It's gone through. So a rare error from Holmes. Picked up inside the boundary. So the runs will be wides. Some good fielding towards the boundary, I think, from Kalia Wheeler. He's been fairly good in the outfield on this field the last couple of days. Throws her body around, decent throwing arm. So Olivia Winter looking to get it back on track. Pull shot, beats one fielder, goes to mid-on, and just a single. Strange, just with a bit of a bunt. If you're not quite sure what's coming at you, it's not really the time to be too pretty, too cute. Full delivery, lofted, dropped at mid-on. It was travelling. And Lauren Taylor didn't have to move much. But unfortunately for the Dingoes, she's grasped it. And fortunately for the power, she's grasped it. So Harris has a life. Dropped on naught. She'll want a century now. Winter with a good length. Again, radar just off. course, the other thing that can happen when you're bowling in high winds is you bowl taking the wind into account, and then the wind dies off just when you don't need it to. So 4 for 68. The Power giving themselves a chance. For a moment I thought they hit the stumps and just chopped down into the ground. Because light travels faster than sound, the woody tone occurred just as the ball was passing the stumps. It's an eventful dot ball. These conditions are horrible. The women will be talking about this day. Anytime a bit of wind gets up. The cut shot fails, probably a bit close to the body. Holmes does well to stop the ball from going any further on the bounce. So an over from Winter that had success at the very beginning, had a drop catch, a few wides, no postings really.
I'm looking at for
So bowling change at the clubhouse end. Sorry, at the Ellison Road end, apologies. This is Ella Anderson, the leg spinner. Bowled well in parts yesterday. She'll be bowling into this wind. So if the power batters can get onto one, they will have the wind behind them. But of course it will help Anderson with fooling the batter with their length. Fisk Walsh has been pushed out to deep point, and the deep third has been pushed into a gully position. And Anderson may well bring the gully into play. It's a deep square leg. The fine leg is short and is brought up even shorter. The long on is back. Cover is back. The fine leg becomes a third. The gully becomes a point. The square leg becomes a backward square leg. And I am the walrus. Abby Harris on strike to Ella Anderson. Short, pulled, through the vacant mid-wicket area, but there's a deep mid-wicket, so that should just be the sequel. Slightly short from Ella Anderson to begin her spin. Strain. Being a wicket keeper, probably reads like a big run. Well flighted. Strain thought about going for the cut and eventually judged that it would be called wide, and it was. Short, Strain had to reach for it. Hangs her head up, which suggests that had she not hit it with the bat, total might have been 70 by now. In fact, it is 71 by now. That's what I said the first time. Short, Strain gets onto it. Just a single out to the boundary rider at long on. So a ring of three on the leg side deep, backward square leg, mid-wicket and long on. Deep cover. A deep backward point. It's the best length Anderson's bowled this over. Drew Harris forward. Drew a false stroke. Shot from Harris kept the back foot anchored, but Holmes kept it very honest. Anderson found that length now. And I would suggest this is not the time to try a variation. Don't try the cricket ball now. Keep drawing Harris forward, maybe slightly shorter. Maybe vary the flight slightly, but don't suddenly try to bowl one at 150. I've seen that a few times this series. It doesn't work. It's flatter and pulled. To a single, just 4 off the over. And a good start overall for Ellen Anderson. Leg spin's definitely been the dominant form of spin in this Brisbane Premier League under-19 women's tournament. We've seen little bits of off-spin. Ruby Orchard yesterday, actually Sims earlier today. There's a lot of young women trying leg spin and often having success with it. And plenty of them giving it a rip as well. Anne-Marie Carlin, who plays for Wynnum and also played in the early game, didn't bowl today. That plays for the Bayside Pirates. Gives it a real rip. Gets some drift as well.
76 or 72.
So Winter to continue. So they've nearly reached halfway in the run total. In fact, they have. Hits full, straightish. The umpire does the age-old trick of giving not out by scratching the moustache. It's a cruel trick, it's an old trick, but maybe these women haven't seen it before. So 76 required. And saving the bonus point looks odds-on for the power. Short bottom edge. Holmes did well. Holmes did very well. I wasn't sure that she got down to it, but she certainly did. Then had a shy at the keeper's end stumps. So it ends up being 1 to Harris. Excellent keeping to get a bottom edge from Kira Holmes, who has impressed today. Probably her and Elise Hart than the 2 better keepers we've seen. Beats the outside edge. Windsor can get into a rhythm now, doesn't have to change for a left-hander. She's looking the goods. Racing back to her mark. There's been a lot of extras today, which have played a bit of havoc with the overrates. 3 consecutive times to beat the outside edge. Going for some expansive shots. Windsor got the better of her each time. I do say the next time there's a training session at Ipswich, we'll let her know all about it. Holmes coming up to the stumps. Windsor is quick. I'm not sure that you really want to stop the strength coming out of it. Full delivery, played to leg. It will be a single. Feeling on the leg side. Take that in back. Oh, that's unlucky. The second run out chance at the keeper's end. It's out. They recovered well, the Dingoes. They gave away the overthrow, but they've ended up with Harris being run out at the keeper's end. Kira Holmes did well, not only removing the bails, but communicating with her team throughout that whole delivery. As Harris departs, apologies, it's Strang who departs. I must have just seen Harris looking guilty. So 5 down for the power. Again, every time they threaten this total of the Dingoes, a breakthrough occurs. The Blue helmeted figure arrives at the crease. We're still trying to get the number. Apologies for that. Very low crouch stance. Beats the outside edge again. It's been a superb over from Winter. Probably the best over of the innings so far. So the over ends with a power 5 down. It keeps threatening to build momentum, and the Dingoes stop it. Apologies for difficulty in identifying the new batter. Number 9. So Sarah Walker, who bowled extremely well before. Maybe I should have recognised her by height. 5 for 74. Again, just keep making it a little bit more difficult for themselves. There's an appeal. It was straight enough, so not a silly appeal. Probably the first genuine LBW shout we've had this innings. But from this angle, it did look high.
Did you say he's out there?
So Sarah Walker at the non-striker's end. Abby Harris on strike. Job to do. The Dingoes have the top 5 in the hutch. Full toss. Played to leg. It's not safe. Landed maybe 5 metres in front of the fielder at deep mid-wicket, who was Abby Harvey. Most unconvincing, but at least it's a single for the power. Landing in between the 2 rings of fielders. Sarah Walker produced a bit with the ball earlier today, now required with the bat. Coming in at number 7, perfect all-rounder slot. Meets it on the full, didn't mean to get it behind square in the leg side, but has. Possibly missed an opportunity for a second as the throw came in from Lauren Anderson. I've lost count of the number of leaves that have blown past me today. The breaks in commentary are normally where I'm grasping after equipment that's being blown away. Lovely flight of delivery. Lauren Anderson spun it onto a leaf. Harvey did well. Harris rather, sorry.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's a new thing. That's a good thing. Must be
Anderson. Lost the shot. Down the ground. Oh, catching opportunity. It was a difficult chance. And it has gone for 4. Just broke through the hands of Aria Powell down at long on. But it was travelling. Harris made a good piece of it. He ends up with 4 runs. But nothing wrong with the bowling from Ella Anderson. Good quality leg spin. So the first target for the power is 118. That will make sure they don't concede a bonus point. That's 38 runs away. After that, the 148 awaits. Oh!
No ball.
It's a no ball for bouncing twice. That's unfortunate for Ella Anderson because when you bowl the ball to that part of the pitch, it's supposed to, what's the word? Bounce. Just died on the pitch. Harris with the free hit was able to swing with impunity. She may get 4 with the double misfield she has. Spun past 2 fielders at short third and deep gully. And slalommed its way over the boundary for 4. So the over from Anderson ended up being quite expensive despite having some good deliveries in there. The other 2 matches taking place at the moment. 2 fields behind me. One is between the Bayside Pirates in the Southern Highlands. The other has been the Northern Magic and the Northern Kings. We saw the Northern Kings twice yesterday. We'll see the Northern Magic twice tomorrow. But overall, you'll see every team on the live stream twice. This is the Dingoes' second match. The sad thing about that is that we lost a fair chunk of their innings on camera yesterday due to a camera failure. Regrettable. Certainly apologise. Change of bowler at the clubhouse and Eloise McKenzie, who opened up from the Ellison Road end and is now on from the clubhouse. Looks a good prospect, just above medium pace. Holmes up to the stumps. Tucked off the hip, it beats the inner field, doesn't beat the outer field. So Walker looking fairly assured at the crease. The question is whether she can accelerate. Harris is looking to accelerate, started to expand in the last over or two, in the double figures. That one kept low as well, but it was well played by Harris. So McKenzie on target early.
Yeah.
Hits the front pad, looked to be going down leg. Harris has a disgusted look at herself as if to say, well, there's an opportunity missed. So 5 for 87. Abby Harris doing well with the bat. That one's a wide ball. The wind picks up again. It's impossible to tell from where I'm sitting whether it's the wind taking the ball or whether it's just misdirected, but either way, these are not comfortable conditions of cricket. Swung out to square leg. It's an easy single, it's a little bit of wisdom, but it's enough to keep it to 1, as in the fielder does well enough to keep it to 1. No matter how much you love cricket, this is not going to be fun as the story's told 10 years from now. Down the leg side, well gathered by Holmes. Fumbled at the end, but until she reads the ball well. Of course, the problem with Holmes and Hart being the two better keepers we've seen is that they play for the same club. Played uppishly into mid-wicket, nearly an opportunity. Then thoughts of an overthrow as the throw wasn't as good as the ground fielding. But well backed up by Christian Ludwig. So McKenzie trying to hold it together. Not a bad delivery. It was full outside the off stump. Gets the dot. So the innings been motoring along, 90 off 11 overs. So nothing wrong with the run rate, they're on track there. The problem for the power is the number next to the 90. The Dingoes haven't held themselves with a fair few sundries, but it is that kind of day. And to be fair, the power had to bowl in similar conditions. Anderson to continue from Ellison Road. It's short. Harris didn't get anywhere near as much bat on as she wanted. Holmes does her own fielding. It's a good throw back into the person who isn't the keeper because she's a fine leg. They've run 2. So Harris not getting onto it. Holmes retrieves the glove. Harris retrieves the bat. hopefully the marlin's been tied down. That was well played, just kept the hands nice and soft, gets a single for it. And good alert running from Walker as well. The non-strikers then recognised that the opportunity was there, and Harris was quick to respond. Got to the pitch of that, played it out to one off for a single. The throw is good to the keeper, but Harris was never in any real danger. So Ella Anderson keeping it fairly tight, but still leaking ones and twos.
What's this? What's this?
As that dot ball is bowled, the Gold Coast Wave Riders, who will be playing next on this field, they'll be taking on the Southern Rockets. They go for a training run behind me. Haven't seen them yet on the live stream. Lovely delivery from Anderson. Is that a caught and bowl? She just seemed to stick one hand out. Not quite sure what hit on the way through, but Anderson creating opportunities regardless. And she gets a dot. Harris doing okay. It's skied. This could well be it. It's going to fall into the gap. No control there from Harris. Anderson still creating opportunities, but no luck for her at this stage. The match is very interesting, boys. As is my desk. 5 for 95 on 12 overs. There are 52 runs needed off 8 overs. 52 off 48 if you prefer. There's nothing wrong with the quality of batting being displayed by Abby Harris and Sarah Walker. Will your bowling change at the clubhouse end? Just realise that at posh grounds they call this the members end. Really it's just the clubhouse end. Caitlin Lugby. Off target, just being in pace. Mind you, if she was bowling at the end, she might be express pace. Other end rather. So Lugby, important job. That was an excellent length. Harris unable to do too much with that other than just play it away down the mid-on. Am I right to say the power surge has been called? No? My mistake. Just saw the field brought in, made an incorrect assumption. There's 4 byes. 4 wides, 5 wides. So Lugby not quite finding the range. Difficult in wind, as we keep saying. Holmes unable to get onto it. The 100 comes up for the Western Power. This game is in the balance. It's now down to a run of ball with 5 runs coming off an uncounted delivery. The Dingoes had an excellent total, but we could be about to see a nearly 300-run match. If we're being kind, that's a draw shot where you go for the big swing and it ends up through your legs. But either way, Harris gets a single. No contribution to the Western Power today. It's been invaluable. Lugby. Bit short, didn't get up, and well played by Walker. She wasn't going to fall for the trap that's accounted for 2 of her teammates today. Played a single to be on. Run chase is now very, very interesting. The Dingoes really need a wicket. Short with true bounce. well dealt with by Harris. Thank you to all of you on the live chat. As always, if you've got any information about the players, anything you want to say, I am watching it. Little short, there's the Bully grubber. And Harris on that occasion decided to attack. Maybe the pitch waits to see what shot the batter plays before it decides whether it's going to make the ball bounce high or low. It's a cruel pitch. Very calmly played. So up to 5 for 103. So now it's 45 off 42, I believe. Yes. So very, very, very slightly in the Dingoes' favour. This is the second and final day of this Mazda Brisbane Premier League Under-19 Women's Tournament to be played at Marchant Park, Aspley. Tomorrow we head out to the Redlands Club, which you could say they've got 99 problems, but a pitch ain't one. Beautiful wickets. And the oval's named after Peter Burge, Fred Kratzman, who was a stalwart of the old Wellington Point Club out that neck of the woods, and Ron Field. Ella Anderson continuing, gets the pad of Walker. Leg spinner bowling to leg spinner. And the Mutual Admiration Society is strong. Walker got to it, another caught and bowled chance for Anderson. She's on top but unable to land the killer blow. It's been a good spell from Anderson. Their figures could have looked so much better. Lofted. That's going to be 4. First it looked like it might not pass the bowler. Then it looked like it might not pass mid-off. In the end it got past both. Zaria Powell's hat gets blown into Bracken Ridge. And Walker took the risk and it paid off handsomely. 4 runs to her. 41 required. Anderson continuing to put it above the eye line. I love her temperament. She'll keep doing her thing. Doesn't need to panic. That was clever. Saw Walker coming, dropped it a little shorter. It's intelligent cricket. Hope you're enjoying it. Just a little short, punched away by Walker through mid-wicket. We'll definitely get 1. Some good intent from the boundary, despite the underarm throw afterwards. Keeps it to 1. So Walker will retain the strike. Some excellent bowling in that over from Ella Anderson. .40 runs required of 36 deliveries. It seems almost certain now that there will not be a bonus point in this game. We need 40 runs off 2 overs. Lutby to continue from the clubhouse end. Maybe a no ball. It's swatted out to deep cover. There's a single. And it has been called no ball for above the waist. So Lutby also concedes the free hit. 38 required. The Dingoes will not want to let this slip. 3 losses would make it very difficult to reach the finals from here. They batted beautifully. Going for the big hit, it may just find the gap. It hasn't, beg your pardon. And just the one to mid-on. So, again, horrible bounce, nearly takes Lutby's head off. But again, there's been a lot of bowlers in this tournament who have defended the free hit very well. It's not just been that the batters failed to capitalise. They've actually produced the goods on the free hit delivery. Walker with a crouching stand. She's a tall woman, gets down very low, and when the bounce is variable, it's not a bad tactic because that one skidded and she was down there already. Lovely. A hoik beats the first ring but not the second. A single to Walker. Total to 112. Full from Lutvi. Caught! Came up on the half volley. Lauren Anderson had to move to her left. Did so, suddenly realised she was there ahead of schedule. Had to steady, caught it in the breadbasket. And I think her movements afterwards suggest that it wasn't just the hands that were required. But a good innings comes to a close. As Harris departs, she's done an excellent job for her team. She would have liked to have taken them a little bit deeper into the run chase, not to be. Harris departs. We think it might be Ashley Sims at the crease. Apologies for the delays. The hair looks like Ashley Sims. Walker's on strike. And Lutvi is. He has been a little bit either side of the wicket. It gets the breakthrough when it's required. A nice short catching from Lauren Anderson as well. Met by Walker. Good fielding off her own bowling by Lutvi. That was excellent. And again,
5 overs.
and again, a partnership that threatened to break loose for the power has been curtailed by the Dingoes. It's been that sort of innings. Abby Harvey returns at the Ellison Road end. Bowled with good pace before. There's a fan club online. The power surge has been called, which may be why the pace of Harvey has been brought back into the attack. There are some spinners. Beg your pardon. Well played by Sims. Just dabbed it to gully. Gets off strike. Walker's been looking good. There are some spinners who are capable of bowling in the power surge with their variations and may be able to alternate between tossing it up and bowling it flatter, but it does need excellent control. Spin bowling is an art. It takes a few years to master. It's skied from Walker. It's headed in towards gully. It's dropped, unfortunately, for the Dingoes. Wheeler will be disappointed with herself. She had the chance to almost put that game to bed. But mental toughness is being able to put that out of your mind. And I've said that a few times, but I want to drill that point home. It's my pulpit. It's a beautiful straight bat from Walker. Not a bad tactic after a drop catch. Just settle the nerves by getting one in the middle of the bat again. So Harvey creating opportunities. That one just held up on the pitch. Walker threw everything she had at it. And I suspect the pace of the ball before it hit the ground was significantly quicker than after. Matching the balance. That one popped as well. Well played by Walker. And bunts it down for one to centre field. For a second there, Sims was nearly caught out. Managed to retreat. Didn't really advance that far down the wicket either, looking for the second run, but the ball skidded through and Kira Holmes as usual. prepared for anything. Harvey bowling well. Well into the experienced Sims. Sims throws at it, it's over mid-off. Good power surge batting, that's 4 down to the mid-off boundary. The power now need 28 off 4 overs. And it's official, 16 overs have passed and 118's been passed, so there will not be a bonus point in this match. For the first time on the main oval at Marchant Park in this under-19 women's tournament of the Mazda Brisbane Premier League.
Yeah, Lauren again.
We had a slightly strange match here yesterday afternoon between the Rockets and Kings, where the Kings were losing wickets, but because they happened to get to the total with more than 4 overs to go, they got a bonus point despite it being a very close match.
72 minutes.
So Lauren Anderson, who took a good catch to make sure the Dingoes stayed in control, now has the ball at the clubhouse end. It's a good length, just to the legs, turned by Walker. As the Western Power Spin Twins now have the job with the bat. 27 required, 23. Don't go anywhere, or if you have to, put it on pause and come back and watch the finish later on YouTube. Kept down on that well, did very well Sims, because not only jammed down on it, but put it into space. And with singles required, I just wonder whether the Dingoes field is a little bit too far back. There's no one really, and I suppose Mackenzie is in a little closer, just to put a little bit of doubt in the mind of the single. But it might just be a little close to keep everyone back. Bowled. Probably not the right shot to play for Walker. She saw it short, tried to hoik it to leg, and she looks to the heavens for an explanation as to why she played that shot to that ball. So again, the Dingoes are doing enough. 7 down. They haven't gone on a roll with the wickets. They certainly haven't taken 3 quickly. But every time they've needed one, they've taken one. As a pink balloon makes its way towards cover. So it feels like it should be symbolic. I just can't think of what it might be a symbol of.
It would be a symbol of a win.
Rick, the scorer, suggests it might be a symbol of a win, given that unless we have a tie, that is what's going to happen for someone. I kid. I hope you're enjoying the cricket. The scorers with me, Rick and Jan, have the joint best seat in the house. And we're trying to share that with you via a camera, which so far has not blown over. This is a magnificent match.
Still anyone's going?
To answer the age-old question, no one is winning. Anderson. Short. Down leg side. And again, you've played enough cricket. There's nothing all that much funnier than hearing fielder square of the wicket appeal for LBW to a ball that's down leg side. It's an old joke, but I'll never get over it. That stayed down, but it was hoiked away well by Williams. She's off the mark. Lucy Williams playing in the Jodie Field Shield for the University of Queensland. She's strong, so it's there to be hit. She will have a crack at it. Lauren Anderson, also of UQ. Full, met on the full by Sims. Gets the one. the longer this innings goes on for the Power, you suspect that Sims is not a bad person to have at the wicket. So total up to 124. And thank you to Mick Sims for pointing out that Jan is a good scorer. He's giving you a wave, Mick, and a hello. I'm not letting him speak, I currently have gaffer over his mouth. And it's been very handy. I don't always have the luxury of having the scorers so close to the commentary area. Nearly called it the commentary box, that's a joke. This match is in the balance. Well played by Sims into the offside. There's Winter, who's operated, almost an overthrow. Winter's bowled her previous overs from this clubhouse end. She's been swung around to Ellison Road. Is racing back to her run-up. Lucy Wiggins asking for guard. As is her right. Winter. Generally bowled well. Duns it into the air, just went over the bowler's head. There's a mix-up, possible run out at the keeper's end. In the end, we merely have an entertaining dot ball. But Winter creating chances, the running between wickets is decisive. A moral victory, I suppose, for the Dingoes. Swatted to mid-wicket for a single. Good throw from the outfield. That's Harry Powell who's been able to hit the stumps. And Mick, I realise that your daughter's doing you proud out there, but I am not going to tell Jan to give Ashley 20 more runs. That would be wrong. And I think it's also insulting to Ash, really. Sims went for a big hit, tried to score the 20 off one ball. Swing and a miss. Winter, in trying circumstances, has done very well for her side here today. Matching the balance, but the Dingoes with a slight edge at this point. And a clever change of pace. Winter's reaction suggests that the leather and the timber weren't all that far apart. It's a wonderful match. Now we have a green balloon dog blowing onto the field. At least I hope it's a dog. Full toss around the waist. Sims was able to get it over the bowler. Umpire's decision critical here. Just below the waist, even if the relatively short Ash Sims. So Winter, overall a good over, as the green round balloon makes its way to gully, and the green balloon dog heads toward mid-off. In fact, the dog's just picked up speed. The dog has crossed the field in probably a matter of 15 seconds. Although I think the world record will be annulled for being wind assisted. Informs me that Ash is 5'0" nothing. I'll be kind, particularly when it comes to her off spin. It's a high quality 5'0" nothing. And everyone associated with Ashley Sims' circle can be very proud. Lauren Anderson to bowl to her now. Edge just lofted, squeezed out towards backward point. There'll be a single. That will bring Williams back on stride. So, totals 128. 20 runs required off 11 balls. You'd rather be the Dingoes than the Power just right now. Williams with a massive hoik, and it bounces underneath Wheeler and goes through for 4. Wheeler was in two minds about whether to come forward to the catch or go back to save the run. Ended up sort of lurching forward for the catch. It's gone through for a boundary. But it was a fierce hit from Williams. It was short enough for her to get under. Get under it she did. Christy Turner acknowledges the good hit, which indeed it was. Maybe not quite as well directed as it could have been. So 20 off 11 looks a bit dicey. Now it becomes 16 off 10, which looks a little more even. Excellent length. Superb delivery from Lauren Anderson. Well kept out by Williams as well. 4 squared required off 3 squared. It's a Pythagorean run chase. Good length delivery. Williams not really watching that one. And it's now to a ball. Singles no longer enough. Maybe 2 boundaries required minimum. Lauren Anderson showing good control. Changed the pace. Williams went for a big swing. It's found the gap. Williams has produced 12 runs required off 7. Anderson went for the slow ball. It actually came off. Williams went for the big swing, big backlift, but she did watch it. Connected with the inside edge of the bat. Got the boundary. 12 off 7. Shorter, it's been whacked. It's to Wheeler's left. That's another boundary for Williams. In 2 balls, Lucy Williams has turned this match on its head. It's now 8 runs required off the final over. 5 balls ago, it looked like it was slipping away from the power. This is a thriller. An absolute thriller here at Marchant Park. The Dingoes scored 4 for 147. That has been more than good enough for every single game on this field so far in the Mazda Brisbane Premier League Under-19 Women's Tournament. Every win up until now on this field has been secured with a bonus point. This one, Ashley Sims on strike, needs 8 runs, her and Lucy Williams, off the final over. The bowler is Caitlin Lutfi from UQ, bowling to, well, she's got a clubmate, the non-strikers in. Short delivery, wide delivery. Christy and Mick, don't go anywhere. Christy, if you need a note written to your boss, I'm here for you. 7 off 6. Hit on the pad, there's an appeal, umpire not interested. Looks like it'll be a leg by. Out behind square. No, off the bat. So 6 required off 5. Good comeback from Caitlin Lutfi. Christy's boss just left. I love it. Lock the door, Christy. He's not coming back in until this match is over. Oh, hello. The square leg umpire just gave a leg by signal. I'm not sure what that was all about, but it's too late. The scorers are not interested. Maybe he's just scratching his knee. Lutfi to Williams. It's full. Doesn't beat the inner ring. It's fielded. There will be a fairly safe single. Possibility of overthrows. There will be overthrows. It may even be 5. It's not. They complete 2. 4 off 4. Darling Dingoes 4 for 147. Western Power 7 for 144. Lutfi, oh, That could have done anything. Williams was nowhere near that delivery. 4 off 3. These women are going to be talking about this game. No, Mick, you didn't. These women are going to be talking about this game for a long time. Particularly whoever prevails. Williams into the outfield. There are 2 sweepers there. They've run 1. Sims wanted the second. Williams didn't. Just the 1. 3 off 2. There are 2 fielders deep on the leg side. There's a deep square leg. Looks like Wheeler. And a deep mid wicket. Possibly Powell. Apologies if I'm misidentified. Lutfi. The tie is very much in play. No super overs in this comp. Who's got that kind of time? Kira Holmes bringing the changes from behind the stumps. Lutfi in. Sims went for the big shot, missed. 1 ball remaining. 3 runs and the Power win. 2 runs, we have a tie. Anything less than that, the Dingoes open their account for the 2021 Mazda Brisbane Premier League. Holding onto the camera. It's in the air from Sims. It's down past cover. They've run 1. They've turned for 2. It hasn't gone to the boundary. It's 2 runs. For some reason they haven't run. There'll be a run out at the end. Holmes has got it. It's a tie. We have a tie. An extraordinary result. The Darling Dingoes. There is no super over. The Darling Dingoes and the Western Power have played out an extraordinary result here at Marchant Park number 10. I'm yelling over the scorers. I'll just keep quiet so they can confirm the result. It's been confirmed with 2 runs off the last delivery. Each side will take 3 points. There is no jubilation on this field. All of the players look stunned. They can't quite believe what has happened. But we have just seen a remarkable game. We hope you've enjoyed it. The scorecard will come up on your screen shortly. In one sense, the individual performances almost don't matter. The 2 teams, the Dingoes and the Power, have given it everything. Sims threw the bat at the last delivery. The fielding was sure. It didn't quite make it to the boundary. I agree, Christy. It's very nice work, girls. That game, for anyone who missed it, find the link on YouTube and send them.
That was the right.
Yep. The Power coach was just checking the number of deliveries because there was a wide earlier in the over. The scorers are all over it. Well done, Rick and John. An absolutely fantastic match, possibly the match of the tournament. As the scoreboard comes up on screen, we're going to go catch our breath. We'll take a break before the next game, which will feature the Gold Coast Wave Riders. They'll be up against the Southern Rockets. The Dingoes and Power is shaking hands. It's just over to the right of screen. Emma Jackson can take a bow. Abby Harris can take a bow. Imogene Fisk-Walsh will probably get player of the match, although Lauren Anderson might have a bit to say about that. Winter was superb with the ball. Thank you, Mick. It's been a pleasure to provide commentary for you. I am privileged to be here. There's lots of people around the Brisbane Premier League, but first and foremost, it's about the players. And women's cricket across the world, never mind in Queensland, is on the rise. Get into it, you'll feel like a pioneer. So the Darling Dingoes and the Western Power have played out a tie. They'll each get 3 points. We'll be back for the Wave Riders and the Rockets in about 15 minutes. Hopefully we'll get the match started correctly this time. These scores are pretty good. Thank you very much for your company. Christy, we'll see you too. Thank you to everyone who tuned in on the live stream. You've been part of this. We'll see you again very soon.
All 4 of us were on the same page. Good.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Did you not get the time?
Yeah.
Because that speed, the bells are 40. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, you give them a bit of an allowance for that.
Outside. It's going outside
Yeah, that's
the boundary. Outside the boundary, they have to get the goal.
Yeah, that's all. That's fair enough.
You know, they started 19 to around 5. So one goes allowance.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah, good on you.
You can't think them like a policeman.
Exactly, yes.
Fair enough when you think about it. The bull's travelling well over the moon. It's good. That's how it is.
Yeah. See, John.
We had that big deal, and then you talk like this.
Hold on.
See,
Glad you're a part of that. Coach is open till black. If you want to wave into a camera, now's the time.
Yeah. And that's what would have been the difference between a win and a loss.
Would have been funny if I lost.
Yeah. That would have been.
Yeah, me too.
Disconnected. Wi-Fi box. See. We need to get the Wi-Fi.
don't move.
Yeah, I don't know where it is.
The Wi-Fi box is.
So I just put up with the contact. No. One kid last year was telling something about a bad fire, and the dude heard it. He was like trying to whisper. He dropped it on the
This
camera.
one didn't hear. It's really bad.
Don't listen out here.
It's still gross.
I hope not. They moved everything into it. Oh, I'm still connected to the other one.
Where's the other one?
That over there. I'm still connected to it.
30. Okay. No, we just download the map.
Do you know who won the toss?
Yeah.
Mum, can you ask who won the toss? Ben! Who won the toss? Really bad. Yeah, I'm online. We can swap it. Who's batting? Ben! Who's batting? I don't have numbers. Kavanaugh?
You guys got no Wi-Fi.
I have it, but I'm using my phone data.
Oh, okay, righto. You might be able to get reimbursed for that. So, I wouldn't have thought the last two guys took it. That seems unlike them. So, first things first, the match is being scored?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so that's the start. I will let the organisers know. I am commentating this game. And to anyone listening to this right now, I am commentating this game, but I'm still getting set up after recovering from the last game, so I apologise for the delay.
Oh no, where that thing is.
Okay, so those watching the stream, it looks like we've made the same mistake that was made at the beginning of the last game, where the scorers didn't close it off properly, so we're still on this stream, which is not how it's supposed to work. So apologies everyone, we'll see if we can get that sorted out. Sorry about that. I haven't used this to know how it's supposed to work, but sorry. Okay, so we'll try to jump in here. Welcome back. Again, I had a vain hope that we would be able to start the live stream of this match on its own channel, exactly as it's supposed to be. It turned out to be a silly idea. So, so this is the Gold Coast Wave Riders in their gold up against the Southern Rockets. Apologies that the scoreboard is not on the bottom of the screen at the moment. We are having technical problems there, which we are working on. It's been that sort of day. thank you for your patience, your persistence. What's important is that at least we can see the action between the Wave Riders in gold in the field and the Southern Rockets in blue with the back in hand. Samantha Smithers plays and misses. The bowling is from Meg Metten, who I saw last season bowling fast medium. She's a bit quicker than that now. Same with Julia Kavanagh, the left armer who's been bowling from this end. She's increased significantly in pace since this time last year. Metten with a lot of shoulder. Smithers just bunching it into mid-off and then plays a shot which really wouldn't have been the one that played with that ball either. So we're into the third over of the innings. No wickets down yet, and the score is 10 runs on the board. Smithers around the corner, doesn't quite find the gap. We are, of course, still in the power play. Gets the single. And that will bring on strike Isabella Samet. Samet from the Sunshine Coast Club, Smithers from the Gold Coast. And they're batting together in Brisbane. Split the difference. Kayla Wrigley with the gloves on. Metten went short, it didn't bounce. It's given LBW, that is unlucky. I think a lot of these batters are looking forward to us moving out to Redlands tomorrow because unfortunately this pitch has resulted in some uneven bounce. So the Rockets lose their first wicket. LBW to Metten. It's a ball that simply did not get up. Very unfortunate. Because the new batter will be the captain, Ruby Strange. But sadly not the first wicket to go via that method this week. The Samet departs. So Samet, Smithers and Strange, the top three for the Rockets. Not a great batting order if you've got a list. But Strange, the captain, scored 50 off 34 balls against the Power yesterday. She's in form. Metten has the breakthrough. So our apologies, at the moment this game is being streamed still on the Dingoes versus Power video. We're just waiting for the previous game to be closed off so we can open the stream for the Wave Riders versus Rockets. When that happens, unfortunately you will need to change videos, but hopefully it should just come up for you either as suggested videos or just on the Brisbane Premier League YouTube channel. You've been very patient and very forgiving with us today and I thank you for that. As long as we can chase. Metten to full down the leg side, it was quite well taken by Wrigley. For those of you who may have not have watched the earlier games, it is a very, very windy day in Brisbane. The wind is playing havoc, the pitch is uneven, it just seems thrilling tide. Shorter delivery which Strange negotiates very comfortably. So end of the over. 3 overs gone, none for 1 for 12 of course. I forgot about the wicket, sorry. 4 overs gone. The scorers, who are not responsible for the errors at the moment, I'd keep me abreast. So 1 for 12 off 4. Metten and Kavanagh doing the early damage, but we do have a bowling change at the clubhouse end. The carefully marked run-up of Trinity Doyle. Doyle playing for Ipswich, was part of the side that reached the Jody Field Shield final back in March, going down to UQ on that occasion. The Wave Riders had a fair bit of pace in their armour for the sides that won both the senior men's and the senior under-19s tournament. Nick, thanks for your questions. I'll get to those in a moment. First ball is played to leg. Yes, Nick, you quite rightly noticed that there were 9 batters and then 3 players who weren't the 9 who bowled. And I can confirm that in this competition, you can place balls at total level. So it's a bit like a rule they experimented with in men's one-day cricket in the mid-2000s. And for participation, it often works well in underage cricket. So there are still competitions that will play that rule where you have 12 inside and only 11 back. Flicked off leg and fielded at deep square leg, misfielded at deep square leg. Doyle not bowling wide, but just not quite getting the line right to the right handers early. Christy, thanks for the tip. I'll try to get a bit more noise through. I think the wind will sometimes just cut out the noise when it gusts up, but I take your point. Down leg side, Doyle missing that one, bowling left arm quite quickly. And it is picked up. In fact, a leg by on that occasion, apologies. (13-player squads, and you will often see all 13 on the field, not at once, but across the course of the innings as the fielders are rotated. No restriction on that in this tournament either. Doyle bowling quite full as it's pushed to mid-on for a single. Just the one down. Megan McCartney in the earlier game, LBW to a ball that did not bounce off the first ball of the Western Powers innings. Samet not quite that unlucky, but pretty well. Good Yorker from Doyle. So perhaps Isabella Samet and Megan McCartney can have a joint counselling session later on. Yeah, that's one too. So yeah. As they're the 2 batters who have been LBWs to Mullygrubbers today. Good drive. Met that on the half volley. Had to sprint, but it was always fairly comfortable. And so good running from Smithers. Into the over. Good start overall from Doyle. His total moves to 1 for 17 after 5 overs. So a very economical start from the Wave Riders. Keeping the runs very much in check. The Wave Riders had a thrilling victory over the Pirates yesterday in their first match. They won by 5 wickets, but it was off the second last available delivery. One of 2 matches yesterday that were won with only 1 ball remaining. And then they had a power point loss to the Marlins, who are the runaway competition leaders at this stage. This momentum continues from the Ellison Road end. There's bowling heat. Smithers getting tight in knots there, caught the shoulder of the bat, ballooned to gully. She thought about a single, and Ruby Strange looked at her as if to say, "Are you kidding?" I'm reliably informed by Christy that Sam Smithers has a bit of a turn of speed. His fine leg gets pushed back. tickled down to the fine leg fielder who was just pushed back. They were thinking about a second, but Taylor Hamblin was in quickly enough and hits the stumps. Thankfully the males didn't fly into the face of Michaela Wrigley. We've had enough keepers getting things in their face like cricket balls. Apologise I haven't had time to get an update on Dahlia Glennie for you. Horrible injury to her yesterday. And then Strange tried to play a back foot shot off the front foot. And to no one's surprise, it didn't work. The Stories have just done very well to save their laptops from being blown to square leg. Short delivery, very nearly a chance through to Wrigley. Strange tried to guide it through the vacant slip area off the face of the bat. Didn't get anywhere near enough on it, and it landed just in front of Wrigley, who kept the runs to a single with the help of the fielder at Gully. But Metten causing problems. Smithers on strike. Samet in the shed. Went for a pull shot, did not bounce. Maybe it was too full to pull anyway. End of the over. And just 1 for 19 off 6. The first power play was over 2 overs ago. And the power surge will be important for the Rockets, but the wave ride is well on top early. Admittedly on a pitch that's not only unforgiving, but sometimes punishes you for good deeds. So Doyle to continue from the clubhouse end. Just get confirmation. Looks like Julia Kavanagh is captaining the Wave Riders side. 17-year-old from the Sandgate Redcliffe Club. Been in the first grade side a couple of years now and growing in skill and confidence each year. Now trusted with the captaincy of a Mazda Brisbane Premier League side. The full toss is missed and caused Wrigley a few problems. I admire Wrigley's willingness to stand up to the stumps for somewhat of Doyle's pace. But I'm not sure that too many batters will be looking to advance against Doyle. Good length delivery, played to cover, to point rather. It was actually fairly well picked up by, I think, Grace Collins, but not able to be held. And so they scamper through for a single. One run for Richard Strange. And the wind is getting stronger, as you can probably hear. Another full toss. This is absolutely extraordinary. I've played in most weather conditions in Brisbane. I've played in wind, but this is extraordinary. The squeaking you can hear is because the marquee is currently struggling against its own moorings. As the wind dies down for about, 2.5 seconds. The box of spare balls that the umpires use, it's got about 5 balls left in it. It's just been blown off the table. And Doyle will continue. Off the front foot, inside edge. But down to long off for a single. Where it's fielded by Olivia Totten. The Wave Riders, applying a stranglehold early in the innings against the Southern Rockets. Fullish delivery, and Doyle's generally kept it full. And bails are being blown off, umpires making sure of that. Speaking to the umpires of the previous game, they were very close to removing the bails and just playing without them, and the laws do accommodate that. And Doyle, if anything, is getting quicker, but that one's pushed to mid-off. Sharp fielding from Totten that can't prevent the single. Good over from Doyle, still one down. Just 22 on the board. As this 3-woman pace attack from the Wave Riders applies the stranglehold. And just quietly, good to see two left armers as well. Haven't seen a lot of left arm pace. Lucy Hamilton, of course, from the Coastal Marlins. But for the Wave Riders to have two brings a lot of joy to this commentator. Daniel Viles is my name. It's been a wonderful pleasure to be with you for the last 2 days, and also for the next 2 days as we move to the Redlands Cricket Club at Wellington Point for day 3 of the round robin, and then the finals round. Now, for what it's worth, I have worked for ABC Radio, so technically, if you know someone playing in this game, you can say there was an ABC commentator on this game. It's slightly stretching the truth. Not exactly Quentin Hull or Alistair Nicholson, but you know, you've got to build these things up. Even Zane Bojack and knock him either. Julia Cabot are rigging the changes. We have spin for the first time at the Ellison Road end. Floater, good use of the feet. It's hit wide of the mid-on fielder. And the cow corner fielder will bounce the ball very early. With Olivia Totten. Starts with conceding a single. Plenty of air, and Smithers nearly got herself in trouble. Wrigley did well behind the stumps. Wrigley, a trailblazer for the Wave Riders. Her parents own the Morton Magic. I kind of hope they meet in the finals. Well flighted delivery from Totten. Well pushed from Smithers, backing her own pace. And she completes a fairly comfortable single. So the Wave Riders on top, but plenty of wickets in the shed still for the Rockets. Lofted, didn't really get hold of that, did Strange. But it's made its way to the boundary regardless. So Totten at least making sure that a risk needed to be taken for her to be hit to the boundary. But credit to Ruby Strange for taking that risk, particularly with the run rate fairly slow at this stage of a game, particularly in T20 format. Using the feet again, one bounce to mid-on, and the throw, I suppose it went to the keeper in the end, and kind of went past the bowler on the way, said hello, and then skidded through. So Totten to Smithers. Good little battle here. I think that was on the half volley, but she'll get a single out to deep cover anyway. Kavanagh reached for it without any great conviction. And Totten completes a fairly controlled first over. So 7 overs gone, still one down. Doyle will continue from the clubhouse end. Just 1 for 30 with 7 overs gone. 8 overs. That's good bowling from Doyle. Indifferent batting from Smithers. Just tried to glide a ball that maybe should have been hit. An excellent keeping from Wrigley. Nice cover drive, but unfortunately just went a bit too quickly to Kavanagh. Doyle bowling with pace and control. And that's bowler, forgive me, my vision was obscured. But she's got that exactly on line. Smithers was playing to leg, which suggests to me that maybe she didn't quite read the line of it. But Doyle has breached her defenders. Smithers has to go and it's 2 down. The wave rider's very much on